What's up, bros and hoes, or whatever floats your goat? It's your boy Relentless, and yes, I'm just sitting here, just flexing away. Yeah, look at my burly biceps. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging around and sticking around while I've been away. It's been a kind of a gruesome last 2 weeks, to say the least. I tried to broadcast a build video, and that didn't work out so well. So I apologize for that. So this is what was supposed to be there, and so this is I give you the named high end, what I dubbed the Super Saiyan build. It's as you can see, all gold and named high end. Predators mark knee pads because it's actually the best knee pads that I have. And you don't have to use an SMG with this, but with this build, it's what I necessarily am going for. It's more a crit damage dealer. Um, and let's jump right into the gear themselves, and then we'll go on to the weapons. Right now I'm using a Barrett's Bulletproof Vest, but you can easily swap it out for a Vigorous or Reckless. Works very nicely too, especially with the more or less tankiness of this build. But like I said, if you don't have a bulletproof vest, then by all means go for Reckless or Vigorous. I wish I actually had better Barrett's bulletproof vest, because you want your main stat to at least be around 1250 if possible. And then the minor attribute slot, I would suggest going for ammo capacity. But if you want to get those caches built up, then increased kill XP doesn't hurt. As you can see in the major attributes, I have 15,197 health and 5.5% enemy armor damage. And in the mod slots, I have stamina and health, and another stamina and health. Moving on to the mask. It's a tenacious mask. Good roll. I opted in for the 9,623 skill power, which is not necessarily because I can easily go over and re-roll this to create hit chance, that's probably what I'll do. And then a minor attribute slot, it actually has disorb resistance on there, so that works out nicely for those sticky flashes that are up and coming that lots of people are going to be using now, with 253 stamina and health in the mod slot. And a good thing about the Tenacious Mask, as you can see with the change of certain gear pieces, the increased damage is 10% for 10 seconds when using a med kit, and great armor roll. The max you can get is 1,001, so I'm only one off on that. But just think, popping one med kit, and now you can pop them when you're at full health. So you can get that instant 10% buff for that 10 seconds, and it comes out really nice and handy, especially in PvP situations. Going on to the knee pads, good roll on them, 1652 in armor. Good firearms, major attributes. I went with health because that is equivalent to 15,000 health is equivalent to probably 1,000 in the main stat category when it comes to stamina. So it works out well. I got damage to elites, increased kill XP, and bleed resistance. Instead of increased kill XP, I'd rather have enemy armor damage in this slot, since SMGs don't carry it on it, so it does come in nice and handy, and it's better for that to be in there somewhere on knee pads, on everything as possible, especially if you're going to go into PvP. So I recommend on everything that you can and have available at your disposal to put not increased kill XP, because that's just sorry unless you're just going for caches, but enemy armor damage. And in the mod slots, I got 249 firearms and 5.5% first aid self heal. Specialized backpack, that way it makes my skill power a little more punch to it. I rolled in my major attributes 8% crit hit damage. You can opt in for skill power, but I went with the 8% crit hit damage. But the 13,000 skill power does come in nice and handy. That would put me around 143 skill power, which is, I think, my heals right now are sufficient enough. And as you can see in the minor attributes, ammo capacity, that is very vital. In the mod slots, I have 261 stamina with a little over 3,000 health, with 6% first aid self heal and another 6% first aid self heal. And this is a key component to this build is the Skull MC gloves. 988 is my base armor. Like I said, I'd rather have these gloves, the main stat, at least 1250. But as you can see, this is the best pair that I've come across thus far. These Savage are really nice, so if you don't have MC gloves, then you can substitute them for Savage. That'll be no problem. But Skull MC gloves with that extra 16% bonus damage comes in really nice and is crucial to this build. And then just think when you pop a med kit, that's 26% when extra damage when no set bonuses are active. And as long as you don't have two till pieces in any slot that are the same, then you're good to go, and the talent on your gloves are active. And in this case, I'm running SMG damage, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage. So that is the trifecta and the major attributes on gloves. We all know this. You put on whatever your main archetype weapon that you're going to be using, and then you want crit chance and crit damage. Last but not least is the holster. Decent rolls across the top. At least they're over 1200. Like I said, I'd rather them to be 1250 in all three slots. I have other holsters down here that are better in ways, but for the most part, Steadfast comes in handy. You can also use Sturdy if you're going to be bouncing in and out of cover. And this also depends on if you're running in a group and you have a dedicated healer in your group. Dedicated healer always comes in nice and handy. And if you do, and he puts out an immune station or a revival station, then your health regen is going to kick in twice as fast, and you're going to get health a lot faster. As you see in my major attribute slot, I have reload speed because I had to roll the stamina, because the stamina on this holster was only like, I think 1188. So therefore, yes, I had definitely had to get that over 12, and luckily I got 1270 on the first roll. And in the mod slot, I got another 6% first aid self-heal. Moving on to the weapons. I got the converted SMG 9 with Deadly, Vicious, and Fierce. As you can see, you're doing 21.1k base damage. And my attachments is 110% magazine size, 3% crit hit chance, and 4.8% rate of fire. Now, you don't have to have rate of fire, but the converted SMG shoots a little slower than the base MP5 ST, as you can see that I have down here. But whatever suits you best is fine. I went with the extra crit chance. But like I said, in the slot for my Tenacious Mask, instead of skill power, I can easily put in that crit chance and be capped out on crit chance if I chose to run the MP5 ST instead. But in this case, I run the SMG 9. And in the small optics, I have crit damage, crit hit chance, headshot damage, which is the trifecta. That's what the three that you want on your optics. On the small muzzle, I have crit hit chance, headshot damage, crit hit damage, and reduced threat. Now going on to the AR, LVOAC, 22.1k base damage, vicious, responsive, and destructive. And instead of responsive in the middle slot, I'd prefer something else, such as possibly Deadly or even Unforgiving would be a lot better. But the way I've seen PvP going on so far on the PS4, it's kind of like basically the same. So I get that extra 10% base damage because everybody's up in so close. And since my primary is mainly an SMG, I have to get up close anyways for the damage drop-off. So it comes in nice and handy when I want to, instead of reload, to switch. But since I have that 20% reload speed on my holster, my SMG 9 reloads pretty darn quick. But in the magazine, I have magazine size, crit hit damage, and crit hit chance, large optics, crit hit chance, optimal range, and headshot damage. And in the large muzzle, I have headshot damage, crit hit chance. And I think, to be honest, I have the wrong suppressor on here. Yeah, I like that one better. Go with the crit damage and crit chance because you really don't need optimal range. So, but you can easily, like the C79 scope. That's also a good scope for all you Deadeye builds out there. because as you know, since the update and state of game, you have to be scoped in when it comes to using a Deadeye set. So if you are using a Deadeye set, which is that build will be coming up soon, probably later on today or probably tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. But if you're running a VX12 scope, you know, you have to be scoped in, so you're running mainly to mid to long range battles. But if you are wanting a closer up scope and don't have to be scoped in so far, because you know you don't have the distance between you and your opponent is a lot closer, then I can recommend you finding whatever scope you can get your hands on, the blueprint if it's available, whenever it's available, or by picking it up, trying to find one in the dark zone or any cache boxes as possible. Works out really nice with a Deadeye. So if you're looking for a scope for your Deadeye build, then go find you a C79 scope. And we'll go over to my main stats, and as you can see, 56% crit hit chance, 84% crit hit damage, and 61% headshot damage. You can switch these up. I have a lot more crit damage than I do headshot damage, just because I have potato aim most of the time. But you can easily opt in for headshot damage instead of crit damage if you want to beef up your headshot damage. Only 5.5% because this is a SMG, 13% damage to elites, which is for NPCs in the dark zone that comes in decently handy. Skill power, 128k. Toughness, it's a little on the low side, 31.82% armor. That's just because I have a low base armor roll on the Barretts. But, when two skills are popped, especially, I'm utilizing the sticky flash, you pop that, and then if you have to pop a heal, then therefore you'll get that 10% addition in armor. And my health pool is 230k. So this is not a pure all-out DPS build, because if it was, then this Tenacious Mask, instead of stamina, it would be rolled to firearms, and then my firearms would be in the 8k range. But as you can see, I got 337.577 toughness, which is pretty tanky. It has more survivability than a DPS, but it puts out plenty of DPS downrange, and it completely shreds and melts, especially when popping a medkit accompanied with booster shot on top of that. So basically, you're putting out, I believe, around 25 to 26k base damage when you have everything fluxing together, which comes out really nice and handy. I think I've rambled on enough. Once again, thank you guys so much for sticking around and being faithful and loyal to my channel while I've been in despair, more or less, being sick. But thank you guys so much. But I do recommend this is one of the top tier builds that are out there, along with Striker, Deadeye, Tactician. And if you want to go full DPS, which was, just you want all firearms on all 5 pieces, and then you can either tack on more firearms in your mod slots or your health, depending on if you're running solo versus a group of 4. You can go more DPS with this build if you are in a group of 4, because you have a healer. So if you have a healer, then this can be even more potent. But as it is, it's very deadly. And even with my potato aim, it completely melts people in the DZ. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, if it's very informative or anything I can do, please hit that thumbs up button and leave the comments in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys so much, and we'll see you guys fudging later.
I got broads in Atlanta, just to lean the family. Credit cards in the scammers, hitting the licks in the van.